The ancient Greeks sometimes used to compare poetry to pottery. So let us follow their lead and imagine for a moment that different kinds of poems might be compared to different kinds of pots, such as funerary urns, drinking vessels, or prize amphorae. For all three of these objects, convention predisposes us to perceive a correlation between their shape and the purpose they have been designed to fulfill. This is why, whenever we see a piece of pottery that adheres to a recognizable form, we tend to find ourselves making assumptions about what it is for and how it is to be used. These assumptions may turn out ultimately to be wrong, but they nonetheless mean that when we begin to inspect each object more carefully, we already bring to our inspection a set of thoughts and feelings that are then variously confirmed, rejected, or reconfigured in the course of our viewing. One of the things a work of art says or does, that is what it says about, or does to, the intellectual presuppositions and emotional predispositions we bring to it. Because of this, the meaning of a work of art lies not least in the activity it engenders, the activity of thinking and then rethinking, of perhaps feeling first one way about something and then another. This is an activity, moreover, that is ongoing for as long as we are contemplating the work of art. It is important we bear this in mind whenever we seek to make sense of an object of art such as one of these pots, and that we remember too that this activity is set in motion as much by the object's shape and form as it is by what we might otherwise consider its content. Specific shapes are, after all, often associated with specific ideas, such as death or memory in the case of the urn, community or festivity in the case of the drinking vessel, domesticity or triumph in the case of the prize amphora. In keeping with these associations, specific shapes also have a propensity to elicit from us a specific set of emotions, such as sorrow, happiness, or pride, in the case of our three examples. What is more, the shape of the object might also draw out of us a range of additional sensations and emotions, depending on whether we perceive that shape to be whole or fragmented, regular or irregular, beautiful or ugly. These preliminary thoughts and feelings in any case constitute some of the raw material, as it were, that we then proceed to process and refine as we engage in the activity of viewing a work of art more slowly and carefully. Sometimes our initial presuppositions and predispositions may be upheld and confirm the more we examine the object, as for instance when an urn includes a representation of mourning or a commemoration of the defining activities of the deceased person's life. At other times, those presuppositions and predispositions may be altered or even utterly subverted, as for instance when a drinking vessel contains images of drunken fighting and death rather than of joy, conviviality, and friendship. Such interplays between what is conventionally called form and content are crucial elements in determining what a work of art says and does. They ensure that the process of engaging with a work of art is precisely that, a process, and that the lived experience of going through this activity in real time is as much a part of what the work of art means as is any static message we might ultimately be able to extract from it. As we will see in the next video, Much of what has just been said about the role of shape and form in pottery can also be said of the role of layout, which is to say, its practice of dividing up its words and phrases into lines and stanzas, in poetry.